Okay, I am back with another video. In this video, we are going to talk about what objects. We are going to study about the object. The object type represents the JavaScript data type. It is used to store value type collection and more complex entities. Object can create it as the object constructor of the object initializer and literal syntax. Description: nearly all objects in the JavaScript are instances of JavaScript object. A typical object inherits properties include method from object.prototype. Although this property may be shadowed, aka overridden, the only object that didn't inherit from object.prototype are those with null prototype or descended from other null prototype object. Changes to the object.prototype object are seen by all objects through the prototype chaining unless the property has been method object subject to those changes are overridden further along the prototype chain. It's a very powerful, although potentially dangerous mechanism to override or extend object behavior to make it more secure. Object.prototype is only object in core JavaScript language that immutable prototype. The prototype.object.prototype always null, not changeable. Object prototype properties. You should avoid calling object.prototype method, especially those are not intended to be polymorphic. Only its initial behavior makes sense, not descending object could override it. All object descending from object.property may define a custom on property that has the same name but the entirely is a different semantic from the expect. Furthermore, these properties are not inherited by null.prototype object or method JavaScript utilized for working with object are static. More specifically, value of two string and two local string exist for polymorphic, and you should accept object to define its implementation with sensational behavior. You can call them as an instance method. However, value of two string are usually implicitly called through type conversion. You don't need to call them yourself in your code. Properties depreciated in case where you symmetrically equivalent static method doesn't exist. If you are really want to use the object.prototype method, you should directly call the object.prototype method on your target object instead to prevent them object from having overriding property that produce unexpected result. And deleting a property from object, this isn't a method or object itself. To delete an on property such as map.prototype.delete, to do so must have a delete operator. Null prototype object. Almost all objects in JavaScript ultimately inherit from object.prototype. See inheritance and prototype chain. However, you can create null prototype object called object.create or object initializer syntax with proto object. Yes, an object with a null prototype can behave in unexpected ways. Unexpected ways because it doesn't inherit any object method or object.prototype. This is especially true when debugging, since common object property converted detecting utility function may generate errors or lose information if you using silent error trap that ignore errors. For example, the like object prototype dot string often makes debugging interactable. A constant normal object other method will fail as well. We can add the toString method back to the null prototype object by accessing unlike normal object in which toString is an object prototype, toString method here is on a property of null proto object. This is null proto object has a null prototype. In practice, object with null prototype are usually used to cheap substitutable for map. The presence of object prototype will cause some bugs. Okay, using null prototype object remove the hazard without introducing too many complexity. Has person and get each function. In such case, addition of any method should be done cautiously. They can be either confuse the other keep your value stored, making your object not inherit from object.prototype. Also prevent prototype pollution of attacks. If a malicious script add a property of object.prototype, it will be accessible on every object on your program except object that had a null prototype. JavaScript has also built-in API that produce null prototype object, especially those with use object in hook key value collection. For example, the return value of object dot group by the group and indices group properties of result of a terminal prototype object often also include any object without prototype. Such object can be created using exact and using classes of many built-in operation that accept object will coerce with argument to object. Object are written as undefined null or through type error. Number, string, boolean, symbol, figuring, primitive are wrapped into a corresponding object wrappers. The best way to achieve the same effect in JavaScript through object construct object convert X to an object that were undefined or null. It return a plain object instead of throwing on a type error. Place that uses object coercion include the object parameter or for in loops this value of array method. The parameter of object method such as object.keys auto boxing with the property exist in a primitive values. Since primitive do not have a property, that this value when calling a non-strict function primitive as boxed with null and undefined replaced with global object. Unlike conversion or to primitive to object correction process itself in observable in many ways since it doesn't invoke custom code like toString or value of methods. Constructor turn the input into object. Static method copies the value of immutable on properties from one or more object to get a target. Create a new object with specified prototype object or properties. Add the name parameter described in the given. Add the name property to describe a descriptor to an object. Return any array containing all the key values pair of a given object. Immutable string properties freeze an object. Other codes can delete or change its property. Return a new object from an iterable key value pairs. This is reverse of an object.entries. Return a property descriptor for a name property an object. Return object containing all the own property descriptor of an object. Return an array containing the name of all given object own immutable and non-immutable properties. Return an array of all symbol properties found directly upon a given object. Return the internal prototype properties of the specified object. Group the element of a given iterable according to the string value provided by callback function. Return object has been separate properties of each group containing arrays with element in the group. Return true if specified properties on product or false if the property is inherited or does not exist. Compare if the two values are same value. Equates all value will offer from the is loose equal used by double equal and the is strictly used by triple. Determine if existing object allowed. Determine if frozen. Determine if an object is sealed. Return of an array containing the name. Prevent from extension of an object. Prevent other code from deleting properties on object. Set all object prototype by its object dot value. Return values containing values corresponding to the given object on innumerable string properties, instance properties. These properties are defined as object prototypes and share all object instances. Point to the object which has used prototype with object are initiated. The constructor function created the instant object. The for plan object instances the initial value of object constructor. Instances of other constructor each inherit the constructor property from in respective constructor prototype object. Instance method associate a function with property that execute the function that return value. Associate a function with property that set execute the function which modify the property. Return the function bound is a greater specified. Return the function bound as a setter or specified. Return a boolean indicating whether an object contain and specify. Return a boolean indicating whether the object has a method, prototype chain or specified object. Return a boolean object that whether a specified properties object or immutable on property call to string. Return a string representation to return the primitive value of specified object. Constructing empty object, you can create even empty object. Do you get it? Using object to create a boolean object. The following example are the boolean object interview. Object prototypes. When altering the behavior of existing object or prototype method, consider injecting code by wrapping your execution extension before the after existing logic. For example, the untested code will prevent execute custom logic before built-in Logic, someone else extension executive. When modifying prototype with hooks pass this argument, call state. This is a current behavior is called apply the function. The pattern can be used to for any product such as node.prototype, function.prototype, edition. You can read the browser compatibility. Okay, what else can we read again? What else can we read next? Yeah, let's read about what. Let's read about the map. What does it do? How it work? The map object whole key value pairs. Remember the original insertion order of a key. The value object map dot a console map dot a description map dot object are collection of key value pairs. A key in the map may occur once. It is unique in the map collection. A map object iterated by key value pair for loop return two number of a key for iteration happen in insertion order which correspond to the order each key pair which first inserted into a map by set method. The specification require map to implement it that on average provide access time that are subliner on the number of elements is collected. There is it could be represented internally as table. Key equality, value equality is based on the same value zero algorithm. It is same value which treated zero and minus different. Check browser compatibility. This means NaN is considered the same as NaN. All other value are considered equal according to the semantics of the object versus map. Object is similar to the map. Both let you set key the value and retrieve those value, delete keys and detect whether object something is stored as a key. For this reason, because there is built-in no alternative. However, there is important difference to make map preferable in some case. Security, key types, key orders, size, performance, serialization and parsing. Setting object properties work as a map object as well, can use considerable confusion. But why that way of setting a property does not interact with map data structure. It uses feature of generic object. The value of bill is not stored in map of queries, other operation on the data field. The correct usage of data, storing data in map is through set key value method. Map like browser API, browser map like object mappable object or web API interface that behave in a many ways like a map. Just like map entities can be iterated some same order that they are order object as the map have properties and method that share the same name and behavior. However, unlike map, they only allow specific predefined type of key value of entry. The allowed type of set of is ideal. For example, RTC sets report is a map like object that must have used a string. This defined a specification ideal hello map like object are either read only or read writable. See the randomly keyword. Do you get it about how does map it work? Constructor static properties, static method, instance properties, instance method. We can use other type of the thing using the map object. Iterating metaphor, iterating map with listen with how many minutes has been passed into around 13 minutes 30 seconds has to be completed in this video. Relation with array object, cloning and merging maps. We can merge a map with another one and can clone out a map to the another one. Like maps are merged, maintaining key uniqueness. First dot map. Maps can be merged with array 2. Do you get it about it? Specification, browser compatibility. How many has been passed in this video? Around 14 minutes. For last 1 minute we are going to speak on your own without any help. Like what can we speak? We can speak about Chandrayaan got landed on 23 August in evening around 6 3 minutes, not what can you say, around 6 p.m. Yeah, around 6 p.m. it got landed on moon. It is quite big achievement for space or in terms of space organization of India and or all over the world. Almost every leader in the world have congratulated ISRO for this achievement, and our prime minister also. So we can say that it's a big achievement for our country and for space exploration. Space industry is going quite moving with quite good speed. Almost about 4 years ago, Chandrayaan 2 got unsuccessfully landed on moon. That was very tough moment for ISRO. But they faced that phase, and today they land their rover over the land, which so that if we keep moving with belief in our goals, one day we'll got success. That's I want to say. We'll see you next time. Till then, see you again.